Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Well, it was a bright sunny day today in Phoenix. They actually had a little bit of rain just a few moments ago. But no need to worry about that here at Chase Field, where the roof is closed. And it's the opening game of a 3-game series between the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh and Jim Day, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. And, well, when the Reds and the Diamondbacks get together here over the last handful of years, it is indeed a marquee matchup of two of the game's great first basemen.
Well, you're right about that, Tom. And it seems like when two players in the same position who are at the top of their field get together and play, they ratchet up their game just a little bit. That's what you expect here in this series of Paul Goldschmidt and Joey Votto. Goldschmidt is having just one tremendous year. He leads the league in batting average, 22 home runs, 78 runs batted in. He leads the league in plate appearances, in walks. His on-base percentage is over .450. He's got 19 stolen bases. I'm not sure there's any more that he can do in the second half that he didn't do in the first half, but he is mighty impressive. And, of course, the way Joey Votto's been going lately, it is awfully nice to watch him play because, you know what, every time he comes to the plate, the umpire really just ought to signal to first base because that's where he ends up. He walks more than anybody else around. His eye is the plate is so good, and you couple that with a batting average over 300. Hopefully his power will come around a little bit, and maybe hitting in this ballpark will do that.
I mean, you dive into some of the numbers, and these guys, they take their walks, which leads to a very high on-base percentage. You talk about multi-hit games. They run 1 and 2 in the league. This is going to be a lot of fun over these next 3 days. All right, let's shift gears now to the pitching matchup tonight. In fact, in this entire series, we're seeing a lot of very talented young pitchers, and it starts for the Reds with Raisel Iglesias.
We're going to say that over and over again with the Reds rotation. I mean, they're all rookies. Raisel Iglesias pitched a really good ball game his last time out. He picked up his second win, 6 2/3 innings of pitching for Iglesias. And he's a guy that really can give right-handers some trouble. You see that low three-quarter arm slot. That breaking ball coming out of there is very good. He's got control of his fastball, and his changeup will be a good pitch against left-handers, although there are only 2 in the lineup tonight with the Diamondbacks. So Iglesias, I think, is building on something each time better when he gets out there.
Now, what do we know about Chase Anderson?
Well, Chase Anderson, fresh off the DL, he had some tricep inflammation. He missed it a couple of weeks. He came back. He was horrible the last 5 games before he went on the DL. But they say he's throwing the ball much better. If you look at his numbers early in the year, April and May, he was really, really good. And I got to figure he went sideways because of injury.
All right, when we come back, the Reds like coming here to the desert. Of course, it's their spring training home, but they really like the confines of Chase Field, formerly known as Bank One Ballpark. Jim Day will have that story. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. I'm Jim Day, just outside of the Reds dugout here at Chase Field. And one of the struggles this year for Cincinnati has been road games, but perhaps Chase Field could remedy that, because you check out our Elk and Elk storylines, and you will see that the Reds, since 2008, have a .727 winning percentage here. That's the highest percentage at any opponent's ballpark since '08, bettering San Francisco, Houston, the Mets, and Miami. And individually, players like to hit here. Awesome in Arizona are Votto, Bird, and Bruce. Joey Votto, career .370 average in this ballpark, highest of any National League park. Marlon Bird, a .314 clip, second highest of any National League park for him. And Jay Bruce, although he hasn't hit for average in Arizona, his 6 home runs and 79 at-bats, best ratio home run-wise of any park. And the Reds need that offense, because the last 2 games it has been lacking sorely. It's game 1 of 3 in the desert. Tom Brenneman and Chris Welsh are next on the home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio.
Goes up to the ballpark. He's all about having fun. That's what deep backs to the Bobcat. Little rock, paper, scissors, and apparently Todd came up on the short end.
Well, it only means he's one game closer to a victory.
That's exactly.
And let's maybe he'll win the real game tonight instead of rock, paper, scissors with the mascot.
Brian Price makes his year-round home right here in the Valley of the Sun. The Reds lineup tonight presented by Meyer. Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Todd Frazier. Jay Bruce, a cleanup hitter in right. Marlon Bird in left. Brian Pena catching. Eugenio Suarez, Raisel Iglesias, and Billy Hamilton against 27-year-old right-handed pitcher Chase Anderson, a 9th-round selection by the Diamondbacks in June of 2009. Threw the ball pretty well for him a year ago in 21 starts, an ERA right at 4, a 9-game winner, but this year has been a little bit different story. So Brandon Phillips digging in, and he looks at strike one. So says Bill Miller, our home plate umpire, and this one is underway.
You know, it didn't start out bad at all for Anderson. When you look at his game-by-game logs, he pitched very well early in the year. And as he got deeper into the year, it seemed like, well, maybe it was the injury that eventually put him on the disabled list was the telltale sign of him losing effectiveness. He's primarily a fastball, not overpowering, 92 miles an hour. Throws more sinkers this year than last year. He's got a very good changeup. He likes to use that with both righties and lefties.
There's a bouncing ball to the Diamondbacks shortstop Ahmed, and he throws out Phillips to start the game. And here comes Joey Votto. Our IGS bringing the energy subject, zeroes in on Votto. Most time reaching base in the first 19 games after an all-star break. Look at Votto, 56 of them. That is also the record, by the way, for 20 games. And look at the next name on that list. Of course, a man that Votto has read books written by Ted Williams, videos of Ted Williams. And Votto takes down and in ball one. And the Diamondbacks, one of the teams that put a big shift on Votto. We've not seen as much of this as this season has gone on.
No, you're right, because Votto has been pretty good about hitting the ball the other way. Last year we saw a lot more shifts on Votto. This year, not so much. And maybe that's because Anderson throws that changeup, and Votto, as much as he'd like to hit it the other way, sometimes you just got out ahead of it and you pull it.
That ball is clobbered to straightaway center field. Inciarte looks up, and it's up against the wall, and Votto on base for a 57th time since the All-Star break. That is a one-out double here in the opening inning. Golly day, is he hot.
You know, it's one thing for Votto to take a lot of walks, and he does that as well as anybody. But what he really wants to do is punish pitchers when they make mistakes. Everybody does. And here's a 2-0 pitch, and he just goes to ripping right there. And this is a big ballpark. I mean, the ball carries well here, but that sounded great coming off the bat.
So here comes Todd Frazier. As hot as Votto has been, that's how cold Frazier has been since the All-Star break. A batting average in the very low 100s. After having a monster, an MVP-like first half of this season. And he got underneath that one. He's just fractionally missing here over the last couple of days. David Peralta makes a catch for the second out of the inning. We look at Arizona defensively, presented by Ford. Peralta in left. It is A.J. Pollock in center with Ender Inciarte in right. It's a young team. Goldschmidt, Owings, Ahmed, and Jake Lamb first to third. Wellington Castillo, boy, what a pickup he's turned out to be. He's hanging his signs tonight for Anderson. Of course, for years and years here in Arizona, they had Miguel Montero behind the plate. I got to wonder how much Montero is going to play once he comes back for the Cubs, because again today, just like yesterday, like seemingly every day, Cincinnati native, Middletown High School grad Kyle Schwarber continues to knock the cover off the ball for the Cubs.
Well, when Montero comes back and healthy, I think they'll find a place for Schwarber to play. It may not be behind home plate, but he'll be in the lineup somewhere.
Bruce hammers one down the line. If it's fair, it's gone, and that ball hook's foul.
Oh.
Jay taking a long look at that one.
He thought it went around the pole on the fair side. First base umpire is Doug Eddings, and he really had no doubt about it, and we get a better look right there.
Jay has 17 home runs, 61 runs batted in. 27 doubles for Bruce, which is second only on the club to Todd Frazier's 30. Votto just picked up his 22nd. One ball and two strikes. Chase Anderson grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas. Pitched collegiately at both the University of Oklahoma and North Central Junior College. Spent almost 5.5 years in the Diamondbacks minor league system before finally getting the call to the big leagues about a third of the way through last season. Fastball fouled away by Bruce. See, 12 of his 19 hits since the break have been for extra bases. Just missed hitting a home run during this at bat. 2-2. Not much of a crowd tonight, but boy, they will be packed in here tomorrow night. We talked about it a couple of days ago. They are retiring Hall of Famer Randy Johnson's number here tomorrow night. And that's where it will be unveiled. See, number 20 is Luis Gonzalez, the only Diamondback jersey retired so far in this franchise's very short history. A franchise which began along with the Colorado Rockies, or I beg your pardon, the Tampa Bay Rays back in 1998. See, divisional championships there when Johnson came on board in 99, 01, and 02. Their last playoff appearance came in 2011. They had very good teams in 07 and 11 and got beat in the playoffs. Gone swinging Bruce, and that's all for the Reds. They hit a man left. When we come back, Raisel Iglesias gets the ball. Season as the Arizona Diamondbacks manager. He has really been a manager in wait, or at least interviewed for a number of different jobs. It's hard to believe it actually took him as long as it did to finally get a job. Very highly respected baseball man. Played in the big leagues for a number of years. Let's take a look at his starting lineup tonight. His Diamondbacks come in 3 games under 500. Inciarte and right, Pollock having a good year in center, and you know all about Goldschmidt. Peralta also having a good year. He's in left, Castillo catching, and Lamb at third. Owings at second, Ahmed at shortstop, and Anderson on the mound. Raisel Iglesias, his 11th major league appearance, his 9th major league start.
He sure seems more polished than that. I mean, when you say it out like that, you realize how inexperienced he is at this level. But you really never know it just by watching him pitch. He's got a very good delivery. He's got good control for the most part. You see he's only got 15 walks against 47 strikeouts. And they're just trying to get him to be a little more pitch efficient to get a little deeper into ball games. Although he pitched 2 outs into the 7th inning his last time out against Pittsburgh and picked up his 2nd major league win. One adjustment that you make when you come out here to Arizona and you pitch in the desert is you find out that your breaking pitches do not break as much as they do at sea level in humidity. And they just kind of roll up here a little bit. And the ball flies a lot farther here than it does, you know, at sea level and or when it's humid. That's one adjustment pitchers have to make, especially with the breaking ball. You really got to finish it like you do in Denver almost.
That one ripped into right field, a base hit by Ender Inciarte. Now, one thing about this Diamondbacks team under Chip Hale, they love to run. They may not have a single guy like a Billy Hamilton guy, but you look up and down their lineup, Inciarte, Pollock, Goldschmidt, Owings, all in double figures with stolen bases so far this year.
53 stolen bases out of the first 3 guys in the lineup. That includes 19 by Goldschmidt. Inciarte has 10.
We understand we have an entirely different umpiring crew than the one that was slated to be in this series.
Yeah, I said that was Doug Eddings down there at first base. I should have known by looking at him that that was Larry Vanover. He's been around a long time. How do you miss that glove?
One 1-0 on A.J. Pollock. Runner going, and there's a fly ball down the right field line and out of play. Hey, remember when we were here last year, Pollock was having an excellent season. And Johnny Cueto hit him in the hand with a pitch, broke his hand, and that was all she wrote.
That was unfortunate because they had already had a string of injuries, and he was like the last guy that they were holding their hopes on to come out and watch play. Former #1 draft pick, raised in Hebron, Connecticut, but he did his college ball at Notre Dame.
Well, he is a good-looking player. 11 home runs, 47 batted in, 24 stolen bases, and this was the pitch that got him, and you knew right away we could hear it all the way up here in the booth. That was at the end of May, final day of May, on that right top hand. Two and one to Pollock. Will they start the runner again? No. And it's 3 balls and a strike.
You know, Iglesias just looks a little bit off right now. He's kind of fidgeting around the mound a little bit, kicking the dirt. His delivery is just not quite in sync. And sometimes that happens when you give up a first batter base hit like he has done here tonight. But he's got to be pitching with his eye on the on-deck circle there with Goldschmidt looming.
3-2.
Bread and butter there. When all else fails, down and away is your spot.
Well, you certainly believe they will start the runner here on a 3-2 pitch.
Which means you probably ought to throw over one time. Maybe you can shorten him up just a half a step.
Marcelo okays a sign with Pena. Runner goes, and it's ball 4. Throw down doesn't matter. And Pena saying, you got to be kidding. I think Pena thought that pitch may have been strike 3. Or he didn't hear the umpire's call. So I point to his ear.
Catchers have to come up throwing anyway. I think Pena probably thought it was a ball.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, the batter Pollock, even though that's ball 4, so it doesn't make any difference on anything there. Catchers like to hear it at the same time the umpire shows it. And those umpires that delay it can cause complications for catchers, and knowing when to throw, where to throw, just gives them a little bit of a hesitation. This guy is worth a trip to the mound.
Well, this is obviously not the way you draw the recipe when facing the Arizona Diamondbacks. You don't want the first 2 guys on when Paul Goldschmidt comes to the plate. I mean, not only his overall numbers off the charts as we have documented already. Runners in scoring position. Goldschmidt hitting a cool .386. And there's strike 1. He's even better than that batting in the first inning. A lot like Todd Frazier. Frazier's done so much damage in the first inning of games this year. Goldschmidt is nearly a 400 batter in the first inning with 6 of his 22 home runs. And not only that, Goldschmidt has 78 runs batted in, 21 of the 78 runs batted in first inning at bats.
You wonder why this ball club is only a couple of games under 500. You may not want to even look past that stat right there, because there's nothing better for a young club, and they are a young club. Goldschmidt is 27. There are 4 27-year-olds in this lineup. Everybody else is younger than that. But when they get a lead, they feel like they can beat you. If you're down by 3 runs and you're a young team, sometimes you don't believe you can come back.
2-1 on Goldschmidt, 2 on, none out. And boy, Iglesias is digging himself a big hole.
You can see where he's trying to go. He's just trying to go away, take some of the power away from Goldschmidt, hoping that Goldschmidt would chase one of those pitches and maybe roll over on one. He has grounded into 9 double plays. Iglesias is trying to figure out a way to coax him in at number 10.
There's a fly ball into right field. Cruz preparing for the throw. The runner at second is going to tag up. And Inciarte on to third, 1 away in the inning. Look at the Reds on defense, presented by Floyd. Third, Hamilton, Bruce, left, center, right. Frazier and Votto on the corners. Suarez, Phillips up the middle, Pena hanging aside. So Iglesias retires his first batter in the inning on a 3-1 pitch, breaks Goldschmidt's back. And here's Peralta. A one-time pitcher, Peralta, is unable to get it done that way, became a position player, and look at those numbers. 281 hitter, 10 home runs, 50 knocked in. He was a pitcher in the Cardinals organization going all the way back to 2005. Pitched for 3 years and was injured, was out of baseball, hurt, did not play at all for 3 years. Pitched 1 game in 2011, and that's when they made the decision to go ahead and try something different.
Well, he originally signed with the Cardinals, and then when the Cardinals released him in 2009, he wanted to come back and continue to play. So he made 3 different stops in independent ball where he polished his hitting skills. It's really a great story of against the odds.
Base hit right field. And the Diamondbacks take a 1-0 lead here in the first inning. Peralta drives in his 51st run.
That's really not all that bad of a pitch at all by Iglesias. In fact, it's just a good bit of hitting by Peralta. He went right down to get it. He stayed on the ball. If he pulls off that ball at all, it's a double play ball that ends the inning.
Well, here's one of the hottest hitters in all of Major League Baseball since he came to the Arizona Diamondbacks on the 2nd day of June, and that is Wellington Castillo. Everybody wondering what's gotten into this guy.
He's on a home run binge.
He has as many extra base hits as Buster Posey does since the beginning of June. There's strike 1. 20 extra base hits, a 300 batting average, and 24 knocked in. He leads all catchers in slugging percentage since the start of June. And here we are, the first week of August. Frazier, Phillips will turn it over, inning over. Diamondbacks get a run, a couple of hits, leave a man, and to 1, Arizona 1 and the Reds 0. Over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Blackout and restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Diamondbacks on the home front. Score a run in the home half of the opening inning. 1-0. Reds come to bat here in the second. Every time the Reds play out here, you'll hear some noise from Reds fans if they get on the board. There are a lot of them here tonight. Of course, you're out here for a long time, Chris. In spring training, you're virtually out here the entire, well, for sure the entire month of March and even part of February.
Well, we do the Reds Live spring training show that is quite successful. Back home on the home front, getting people ready for Reds baseball in the regular season. Out here with Jim Day for a long time, I'll tell you. You enjoy the weather, that's for sure.
That time of the year, there's no doubt about it. It's about as good as it gets anywhere in the country in the month of March.
Pretty nasty looking curveball right there that Chase Anderson throws.
Oh, and 2 on Marlon Byrd. And another breaking ball. This time he barely got a piece, but hangs around. Pena to follow, and then a Eugenio Suarez. Now, where is Jim Day? Is he on the inside part of the dugout? There he is down there. Boy, you have a little bit of a crowd down in that corner of the dugout, unlike when you're on the home front in Cincinnati down there, James.
Big crowd. A lot of still photographers, so I'm getting in the way of. Am I not getting in your way? No, okay, I'm not in the way. Our game cameras are down here as well, visiting and home TV.
Very nice.
You know, this is zombie night at Chase Field, and I'm just wondering if Jim Day might take the opportunity to get made up like a zombie. They've got the zombie zone here that you can go to and get made up like your favorite zombie.
Well, as I said on the pregame show, guys, I pretty much look like a zombie every day. I really don't need to dress up for it. I'm prepared.
We know you are. We know you are. I mean, there were fans yelling and screaming at Jim Day. A lot of them that watch our broadcast out here in the Sonoran Desert following their Cincinnati Reds. And I mean, Jim Day, it's like the mayor walking around. The young lady doesn't look all that happy to me. I mean, it's temperature controlled. It's absolutely perfect in here tonight. It actually looks like it's going to rain some more outside. That is so rare here.
Well, if you want rain, all you have to do is invite the Cincinnati Reds to come to town.
That's about right. Yeah, good point. Or you can just take a little dip in a swimming pool they have here out in right center field. Gone swinging his Purdy. 95 miles per hour on that fastball by Anderson.
That's pretty well above his average. I mean, he's usually down around 91, 92 on that fastball. But, I mean, he had Bird somewhat velocitized because he threw him so many breaking pitches in that at bat. He comes back with the best one he's got, fastball that is, and throws it right by him right down Broadway.
Brian Pena takes ball one. A 277 batter without a home run, 13 batted in. Suarez next. Diamondbacks lead 1-0. We're in the second inning. Delighted to have you with us back in Reds country tonight. 1-1 on Pena. Don't know if Brian agreed with that call by the home plate umpire, Brian Knight.
Well, that is the new pitch that Chase Anderson's really been working on. He worked on that in the spring, and that was one reason for his success early in the year. That little two-seamer that he throws inside to left-handers. And what it does is set up his changeup a little bit better, so that when he goes down and away, he doesn't seem to hang him as much because the hitters are a little bit aware of the inner part of the plate. Two and two on Bryant.
And pulled down to Goldschmidt. They'll feed the pitcher for the second out of the inning. Well, we were talking tomorrow about Randy Johnson having his jersey retired. The local Fox Sports affiliate here, Fox Sports Arizona, which televises all the Diamondbacks games like Fox Sports Ohio does for the Reds, they will air 11 and a half hours of programming devoted exclusively to Randy Johnson leading up to the ceremonies tomorrow night.
Wow.
And part of that programming will be the game that occurred here. Chris, you were here, I was here on March 8, 2001 when Johnson struck out 20 Cincinnati Reds. There's a fly ball to right by Suarez. Reds gone in order. Diamondbacks lead by a run.
Raisel Iglesias throws from. So as a former pitching coach, I asked Brian Price, do you try to refine that or do you just let him go?
His change in arm slot is by choice. So he creates different angles and different speeds by choice, not because his delivery gets out of whack or there's no signs that he doesn't know when to drop down. I think he has a very good communication with Brian Pena on when to drop down and when to keep his arm up in that higher three-quarter slot. And I think it's one of the things that adds to his effectiveness.
There would be certain pitchers and certain young pitchers that they would try to get him out of that, but Iglesias and Brian Price has used the comparison to Bronson Arroyo, although he throws much harder than Arroyo, just lets him go. It's part of his effectiveness.
All right, James, thank you very much. He's looking for an easier time of it here in the second inning than he had the first. He allowed a single, a walk to start the game, a fly ball advanced a runner, a single knocked in a run. Then he got the double play by Castillo to end the inning. And he's quickly ahead of Jake Lamb at 0-2.
You know, it's interesting the style that Iglesias brings because he's not a product of the weight room. He's not a product of showcases or personal pitching coaches growing up or sabermetrics or any of that stuff early on. I mean, he has just learned how to pitch growing up, period. Watching older pitchers, which drop their arm angle and throw a lot of breaking balls and do the kind of things that they do to pitch a long time in his native country of Cuba.
It makes you wonder, Chris, and I don't know if there's anybody out there that knows it any better than you. I mean, as a guy who works with young pitchers, whether they be, teenagers, high school pitchers, college pitchers, which you've done. You have a son that's pitching college baseball. It makes you wonder, are we getting to a point where we overcoach our kids?
Well, there's been an argument that they may want to play another sport along the way. Sometimes when you ask a kid who's a 12 or 13-year-old to pick your sport, because we can't have any lapovers.
Yeah, it makes you crazy, man.
And I don't agree with that.
I mean, it makes you crazy when you see some of the demands high school coaches have on some of these kids about picking a sport when you're 14. There's a broken bat pop up to Bruce, 1 out.
I think when it comes to pitching, though, one of the faults that has come along, and I guess there's no way to get around it, because college coaches are looking for hard throwers the same way pro scouts are looking for hard throwers. And one way that you can increase your arm speed is to hit the weight room, get stronger, do weighted ball exercises and routines, and you will increase your arm speed. And unfortunately, if you're not throwing, high 80s, no D1 school is even going to look at you coming out of high school. So you don't really learn the art of pitching as much as you learn the art of trying to throw hard first and then the other side, because there's a lot of pitchers out there who I believe could get college hitters out with a great deal of success that never get a chance because they don't pass the radar gun test.
1-1 to the second baseman, Chris Owings. A beauty of a breaking ball in there, a strike. Of course, some familiar faces on this Reds coaching staff as far as their connections with the desert are concerned. You know about Brian Price? He was the Arizona Diamondbacks pitching coach for 4 years, 2006 through 2009. Phillips will act as though he's going to make the play and stand about 15 feet away from him as bruised, 2 away in the inning. Jay Bell, who's right there alongside number 49, played 5 seasons. He was, along with Matt Williams, 2 of the big stars that were signed on that Diamondbacks inaugural club of 1998. Played here through 2002 and is the franchise leader among Diamondbacks second basemen in home runs and runs batted in. He originally started with the Diamondbacks as a shortstop and was moved over to second base.
Had an interesting conversation with Jay about what he thinks of when he comes into this ballpark. He says, when I came over here and signed here, I first came into the stadium, it was only half completed.
Yep.
There weren't even any seats in. So he really talked more about the people that were involved in, starting this franchise, really from the ground up, and appreciated everything that they did. And of course, the success that they had, especially in 2001.
That's Derek Hall. That's their team president. He came along well after the franchise had been moving along by then. Yeah, I remember walking through this ballpark when there was nothing but concrete being poured in here. And of course, Jay will forever be known. I mean, forever. It's like every franchise has a moment or moments. Jay Bell with his arms in the air, fists clenched, stepping on home plate when Luis Gonzalez had a broken bat single to left field off Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th inning, Game 7 of the World Series. It's what you dream about when you're playing out back with all your buddies as a little boy. To be the guy who hit it or the guy who scores a run. And Jay Bell got to live that dream when the Diamondbacks chopped down the Yankees, who were gunning for a 3rd consecutive World Series in 2001. Iglesias having a hard time putting away Nick Ahmed. Two-2 pitch. Didn't miss by much.
You know, I thought you were going to talk about the story of Jay Bell and maybe the second best moment for Jay Bell.
Well, he says it was his most memorable moment. I was here doing the game that night. I'll never forget her name as long as I live. Eileen Hoyle. I will never forget the name as long as I live. And for those of you that don't know that story, there's 2 outs here in the inning and 3-2. It's an unbelievable story. And we'll tell it when we come back. Breaking ball is strike 3. Eileen Hoyle came up to the booth that day after Jay Bruce made her a millionaire. Ballpark, when fans come through the stands, there's a local dairy, Shamrock Farms, that used to have a promotion every Sunday where when you walk through the gates, you'd pick a player in an inning to hit a grand slam. If the player hit a grand slam, the player you picked in the inning you picked, you would win $1 million. Jay Bell came to the plate in an inning, and he knew ahead of time that he was batting for a chance to win a person $1 million. And guess what? That lady, Eileen Hoyle, knew when Jay Bell walked up, and we were showing her in the stands with her husband and children. He walked to the plate, a 3-1 count, and said, I've never in my life gone up trying to hit a home run. The Diamondbacks had a huge lead in that game at the time. And he said when he got to 3-1, he was swinging no matter where the pitch was, and he was going to try to hit it in the seats. And lo and behold, that is exactly what he did. It was unbelievable.
Well, we asked him to tell that story for one of our episodes of Reds Live Spring Training Edition. And his eyes just light up when you bring up that moment and he tells that story. And Jay's about as good a people person as you will ever meet.
Billy Hamilton, a sinking liner that'll fall in a base hit. So here we go. We got a little action for the first time tonight.
More of this, Billy, please. So now you got the number 9 man, Hamilton, on base in front of Brandon Phillips. Can you run on Chase Anderson? Well, the opposition have stolen 3, and they have had, they've stolen 4 and have had 3 thrown out.
Billy, 51 stolen bases. Has only been thrown out 7 times.
On the other hand, if you're scouting the catcher, Wellington Castillo, he has given up since he's come over here 13 stolen bases. He's thrown out 1. So, yes, opponents have figured out that, you know, he's as hot as they come with swinging the bat. Right now, maybe not so much behind the plate.
Hamilton out running on the first pitch. Brandon takes outside, ball 1. Diamondbacks lead 1-0. Let's see if the Reds can get something going with Hamilton aboard and 1 out here in the 3rd. Brandon has been swinging a really good bat here of late. 14 hits in his last 32 at bats over the last 7 games, in which he's had a hit in each of the 7 multiple hit games in 3 of them. Of course, he had the monster game there in St. Louis, where he had the 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in, stole a couple of bases. That was against the Pirates, I beg your pardon. That was not against the Cardinals. That was a series in between series against St. Louis. Slow number to short. And a double play to run the inning. After 2.5, 1-0 Diamondbacks. Highlights, instant analysis, live look-ins from around the league. Weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. This Diamondbacks franchise, underwent a complete overhaul during the offseason. And of course, the biggest name, it all began the year before, about halfway the year before, when Tony La Russa was introduced in May of 2014 as the chief baseball officer. He's here every single day. He hired his former ace during his tenure with the Oakland Athletics, Dave Stewart, as his general manager. La Russa inducted into Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame in 2014. The winningest Major League manager since 1950, third winningest manager of all time. And there's strike 3 to Anderson. Boy, you look back on his career as a manager. 12 division titles, 6 league championships, 3 World Series. La Russa, along with Sparky Anderson, The only two managers to win World Series titles in both leagues. Only Connie Mack and John McGraw had more regular season wins as a major league manager than did Batman. But the question is, Chris, you know, it's one thing to win all those games as a manager. This is an entirely different job.
Well, unless he exerted some of his influence as manager where he was previously into the general manager's office. I mean, he was a terrific player evaluator, and I would imagine that if you were in the front office and Tony La Russa was your field manager, that you would listen to his opinion on who he may want on a team and who he didn't want on a team.
And of course, a guy who was right there for a lot of that is the current Reds general manager and vice president of baseball operations, Walt Jocketty. Who were together both in Oakland, although Walt did not have that job in Oakland. He did have that job in St. Louis.
I mean, if there was one former manager out there that you say would be the best bet if you moved him up into the front office, wouldn't it be Tony La Russa?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, one thing I always remember about Tony is that he really believes that in order to win, especially on the road, you have to have a lights-out bullpen. And that's one thing that he always was trying to do in St. Louis. Always, it seemed like, had three left-handers down there because he didn't want to ever be boxed into a situation of having to decide when to use his only left-handed bullet. That and the fact that you'd ask him, "Hey, Tony, how you doing?" before the game.
Yep.
And he'd say, "I'll tell you at 10:30.
That's right. Every time. Every time.
Which after a while it became a game to ask him, "Hey, you go ask him, and then I'll go ask him how he's doing today."
That was the answer every day. That's a snappy 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Iglesias. 9 pitches, and he needed that kind of inning. Votto, Frazier, Bruce coming up. Reds down a run. Use hashtag Ohio Data Strong Fan. You might just see yourself during an upcoming Reds broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Votto, Frazier, Jay Bruce, the trio to face that man, Chase Anderson. Here in the Reds' 4th inning, Arizona scored in the first off Raisel Iglesias. Iglesias has retired 7 in a row since a run-scoring single by David Peralta in the opening frame. Joey lined one for a double off the center field wall. His only time up tonight. That was on a 2-0 count. Now it's 2-1, his second go round. Three and one. Borderline strike here. Three and two to Votto, and he'll draw the walk after him. The Reds just trying to get on the board. Of course, they were shut out in that series finale yesterday. And they've now gone 21 consecutive innings. You may remember the second game of that Cardinals series where they lost by a run in 13 innings. They scored 2 runs in the third inning. They got 1 more in the fourth inning to open a 3-0 lead. Cardinals would tie the game on the home run by Carpenter in the 8th, win it in the 13th on the home run by Grichuk. But it has been a while. Frazier flying out to left, his first time up. Anything you notice with Frazier right now during this rough stretch?
As I said in yesterday's game, Tom, I think that he just needs a day off. I just think I don't see the bat speed there. You say he's fractionally missing it. Well, that's what happens when you get a little bit tired. I mean, everything looks the same mechanically. I'm sure that he and Don Long are pouring over videotapes and so on. Sometimes it's easy as just getting a day away and coming back with a little snap in your swing. But of course, you know, the coaches and Brian Price, they track the number of days these guys play. They know exactly the number of innings that Frazier's played and when he's due for a day off. And what they like to do on a day off is give him one where he can back it up with another day off of a team day off. So you have 2 in a row.
Well, the Reds won't have one of those for well over a week.
Well, we've seen a lot of these type at bats for Todd Frazier since the All-Star break. I mean, he'll never go into the manager's office and say, hey, I need a day off. Never.
No how, no way. Here's Jay Bruce. He struck out his first time up. Anderson is fanned 4 through the front 3 1/3 innings.
That fastball he throws is kind of sneaky. You know, you can't take the measure of every fastball and base it on what you see in the radar gun. Some get on you quicker than others. Some you don't see coming out of the pitcher's hand as well. And I'm seeing those kind of swings here on Anderson, even though he only registers 93. He has to run up to 95, but you know, he's getting a lot of foul balls.
They beat Jay Bruce there with a fastball at 94.
So now when you beat a hitter twice in a row with a fastball, I mean, now you can add and subtract. You may not be able to add much if your last one was 94, but you certainly can subtract. His changeup is about 82, so he's got a nice separation. Or if you like the curveball better, you throw that.
That's 5 strikeouts now for Anderson, 2 away after the leadoff walk to Votto. That's good hook right there.
Well, yeah, and it goes from being a pitch that looks like a strike to being a ball. Perfect when you're ahead in the count like that.
All right, so here's Marlin. He struck out his first time up. Anderson a strikeout in the first, strikeout in the second, 1 in the third, back-to-back here in the fourth. Votto at first, Reds down a run. I don't know what it is. The on-deck circles in this ballpark seem to be closer to home plate than any other park in baseball. Look at that shot right there. It's a very long way from actually where you come out of the dugout.
Yeah.
The dugouts might be further away. In fact, they are. They're further away than any ballpark in the league from home plate. But man, that on-deck circle, you are right on top of the hitter. Of course, this is an enormous stadium. I think a lot of the folks that were here from the very beginning, if we probably could do it all over again, they would not have built a stadium that holds well over 50,000. There aren't many of those left anymore. I think Yankee Stadium might be the only one.
It's an incredible structure, though.
Yes.
I mean, really impressive. Of course, you get a stadium this big, you have plenty of ad space.
Yes, you do. And they have plenty of ads. 1-1 to Bird. Pulled foul. Was the first ever retractable dome stadium with natural grass. It is just a great venue, and it's an entirely different looking park, much like Minute Maid Park in Houston, and really all the other ballparks that have retractable domes. It's an entirely different feel when the roof is open, and especially with the panels they have here that also open almost parallel to the scoreboard in straightaway center field. Now, they open it a lot more than the other ballparks that are retractable dome parks. I mean, even on nights where it's in the 90s here in May and early June, they still open the roof at night. I'm a little surprised, quite honestly, it's not open tonight, but maybe there's a fear of rain in the surrounding areas, or they probably would have opened it tonight, because temperature-wise tonight with a lot of the cloud cover is not terrible. Storms are nearby, we understand. I mean, you were up and at 'em today, braving, hiking Camelback Mountain on an August day. I mean, that is a gamer if there ever was one.
Got to get an early start. And we were out there about 7 a.m. this morning. Yeah.
That's getting after it. I mean, I am really impressed. It's one of the great tourist spots here in really in the entire state.
It really is. I mean, it is a city park right essentially in the center of Paradise Valley and Scottsdale area. And there's a couple of different ways you can go as far as the hikes up and where parking area is. And I'll tell you, there are some in-shape people out here.
Cool, man.
Because I'm out of breath, gasping for air, and there's little old ladies just booking by me on double time.
That gives you a little kick, though.
It really does, yeah.
It'll humble you now in a hurry. My wife goes roaring up the side of that mountain. My little kids go roaring up the side, and Dad is bringing up the rear.
No. Well, you probably got the knapsack full of water bottles and stuff, you know.
And I'm the old guy by a lot in that group, including my wife.
But this time of year, they tell you you better get up there early.
Oh, yeah.
Or else they may
dangerous.
have to pluck you off the mountain with a helicopter.
Yeah, it's dangerous in the when the temperatures really start rising, and they do in a hurry. One ball and two strikes to Marlon Bird. Votto's still at first after a leadoff walk. And now 2-2.
Well, Bird is really battled. I mean, it seems like Chase Anderson has tried to come inside with his fastballs. He's spoiled a number of those. He's spoiled a number of breaking balls that he's thrown up there. And it's a matter of who's going to give in first.
Eighth pitch and it's at bat.
Going back to the curveball.
And a tapper to the glove side for the third baseman Lamb, and the Reds are gone in the fourth. Diamondbacks lead 1-0.
Phoenix. I'm Jim Day. Tom and Chris have talked about it. Many people have speculated. Is Todd Frazier's slump due in part to perhaps some fatigue left over from that All-Star break? I asked Todd that very question.
I can see the tiredness of the All-Star game. You know, people talk about ruin your swing. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that, you know, you need your rest. You know, I didn't get the proper rest, but I'm not making any excuses. You know, right now I'm not striking out as much. I'm putting the ball in play. It's just a matter of me, you know, finding some holes, and that's basically this whole week. You know, this whole week and a half, I haven't really been doing that, and you know, that's on me.
And I put that very question to manager Brian Price, and he says he thinks it's simply one of those streaks that every player goes through throughout the season. But again, I'm sure neither party would admit it publicly, but since the All-Star break, it has seemed like a little bit of fatigue setting in, just from my observation.
Well, I mean, Jim, you're down there, and we talk about all the time how close you are with so many of these players, and Frazier certainly is included in that group. And you know, you see these guys coming back into the dugout after at bats, and in the dugout after an at bat, or getting ready to take the field. You know, the other part of this whole thing, and you can say, well, you know, Votto's red hot right now, Bruce is hot right now. Well, that's true. Guys are going to, they're good players. Votto's an exceptionally good hitter. So it's not a surprise he's red hot, but I still believe this Red schedule, what with all of the rainouts, the rain delays, it has been a season unlike any other I can remember, Chris, in my 27 years announcing for a particular team. It has just been a grind for this club with all the late nights and the traveling and the. Hasn't it been amazing?
It really has been. It is one of those tiring schedules, and you know, I'm wondering, Tom, you know, with the advancement of all the sabermetrics, and you're slicing and dicing numbers like never before, I wonder if anybody's done a study about, you know, performance and rest and along those lines. I'm not even sure what you would put into it, but I'm sure somebody way smarter than me could figure that out and use the history to tell you when guys need rest. Some players may need more than others and so on, depending on the type of player. But I mean, there should be some triggers performance-wise to let you know how to give a guy a day off or not give a guy a day off.
Sure.
And I'm not just saying Todd Frazier here. I'm talking just in general terms.
2-2 on Goldschmidt. And another breaking ball, and Goldschmidt takes off the outside edge. Goldschmidt broke his bat, flat out to right his first time up.
Well, Goldschmidt was a guy that just came off a really rotten streak. He was 0 for 15 last week, 9 strikeouts, and said he was really ugly doing them. And then he broke out of it with his last game that he played. He did get Sunday off. I mean, he got Thursday off. But the game before that, he had 3 hits. And he swings through one that's seemingly right there, but gets fooled on the arm speed.
Marcel's starting to put it together here a little bit now. Ever since he got that double play ball to get out of a rocky first inning where 3 of the first 4 batters reached against him and produced a run. Hit, walk, out, hit. Got a double play ball off the bat of Castillo. Peralta's the last Diamondback to reach when he had that 1-out single in the opening inning to drive in a run. So 8 in a row retired by Raisel Iglesias, and here comes a 2-0. Foul out of play. Bottom fell out of that.
Boy,
pitch.
I tell you, he's got the full array of pitches. And when he starts putting them where he wants to, he really can just kind of toy with the hitter. That's a changeup there after a fastball was rocketed down the left field line. Broken bat.
He's broken about 4 or 5 bats so far here tonight. 2 away in the inning and 9 in a row retired by Rysel.
How about Peralta shaking his hand out there on the way back to the dugout?
That's when you know it really hurts, because big leaguers don't do that much. Two away for Wellington Castillo. He was the one who started this string of now 9 in a row retired by bouncing into the double play ending the first inning. Strike 1 to Wellington Castillo. What's a big series starting tonight in the Bronx, and in game 1 in extra innings, Toronto beats the New York Yankees. Who would have ever thought that game would end in a 2-1 count? But Toronto wins it, and the Jays now 3.5 behind the Yankees in the American League East. And I tell you what, the Cubbies have taken it to the San Francisco Giants, thanks in large part to Kyle Schwarber. Brought up his name earlier. Man, is he hit. Whoa. We saw him up front and center when the Cubs came rolling into Cincinnati. Man, can that kid hit.
You know what's funny, with all the hype surrounding so many of those other players that we heard about, you know, some of them have been since sent back down to the minor leagues. We didn't really hear much about Schwarber at all. I mean, he essentially came out of nowhere and has fit right in. Oh, maybe the best of all of them.
I'm with you. I mean, you brought it up earlier. And, I mean, if I'm the Cubs, I'm getting him somewhere besides behind the plate. And I'm going to tell him, young man, just go mash. Because he can really hit. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Check swing, foul ball.
It's been kind of a crazy year for Castillo. He was the odd man out in Chicago when the Chicago Cubs brought in David Ross along with John Lester. So they traded for Miguel Montero. So they had two catchers right there, righty hitter, lefty hitter, and the incumbent was Castillo, but had no place to play. So they eventually traded him to the Seattle Mariners, and then in a matter of a few weeks, he was traded again to Arizona. And here he's getting a whole lot more playing time than he did in the previous stops put together.
All right, still having a hard time putting Castillo away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. This will be the 68th pitch of the game. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Diamondbacks scored in the first. That's the game's only run. 5th full count tonight. Most of those, though, were in the first couple of innings for Iglesias, as he started to get on this run. And now the OK with Pena. Payoff pitch. Strike 3. Mercy. Another perfect inning. 3 in a row for Iglesias. 10 straight retired. Saturday, August the 22nd, the Reds will honor Reds Hall of Famer Tony Perez. Arrive early and witness the unveiling of the legendary Reds first baseman's bronze statue and a special on-field pregame ceremony. It's going to be amazing. I mean, the Great Eight, they're all going to be there, my understanding. I'm not promising you that, but that's my understanding. The first 30,000 fans that night will receive a replica Tony Perez statue presented by La Rosas. 513-381-REDS for tickets. I would highly recommend, if you're considering coming down, and we'd love to have you, to get on that ASAP, because the crowds at Great American Ballpark just keep rolling in nightly, and especially for those weekend games. Foul ball by Brian Pena to open up the Reds' fifth inning. Arizona with a 1-0 lead. And Pena slams one into center field, a hit to start the inning.
Now, second inning in a row, the Reds have had a leadoff runner on. Last inning, it was Votto who led it off with a base on balls.
You know, we were talking about the Reds' attendance, Chris, and you take away the four big boys, if you will, in the National League. You take the Giants, you take the Cardinals, you take the Dodgers. And those are the three really heavyweights. And the Cubs generally are going to draw very, very well, market size, etc. The Reds have drawn more fans at home this year than the Washington Nationals. They've drawn more fans than the Diamondbacks, than Atlanta. Now, granted, the games are not all matching up precisely so far, but as far as just home attendance is concerned, the total numbers, the Reds have drawn more fans at home than Arizona, much larger market. Atlanta, quadruple the size. Running virtually neck and neck with the Cubs, although not on an average per game. Reds have outdrawn Colorado, Miami, Milwaukee slightly better. They've outdrawn total numbers the New York Mets, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Now, some of these franchises on a per game basis are slightly better than the Reds, but it's been amazing, the crowds we've seen for a team that really has been out of the race for quite some time now.
Well, yeah, how much of that is the All-Star effect?
Yep.
You don't know. But heck, the Reds waited long enough to get that All-Star game. You might as well reap the benefits of it when you work so hard to get it and work so hard to make it play out the way it did.
0-2 on Eugenio Suarez. I think a lot of fans are also really enjoying seeing some of these young pitchers the Reds are bringing to the big leagues. And look, you know, we're going to see more, because as Jim brought up earlier, they have to keep an eye on Iglesias as far as his pitch count or innings pitched are concerned this year. Same with Lorenzen. So there's a really good chance we're going to see some more of these highly touted prospects coming up. And there's a base hit by Suarez. So now the ideal situation with the pitcher batting in the A spot tonight. You have 2 on with nobody out in front of Raisel Iglesias, who has 1 sacrifice so far in his career.
It's a manager's dream right here that the lineup lays out the way it does. You get a couple of runners on base, nobody out. Now the pitcher comes up. Hopefully Raisel will figure out a way to get this bunt down the third baseline and advance the runners.
Iglesias does not have a big league hit. He has 1 sacrifice bunt. And Pena, as we know, you got to make a nice bunt. This is not going to get it done. And the ball is thrown away by the third baseman. And the Reds have Iglesias thrown out at second base. That turns into in essence, a double play. The lead runner on the bunt, the trail runner at second.
You know, I don't know if that was bad base running or just bad luck. I mean, wouldn't you normally think, though, of what's going to happen here?
Well, there's some kind of a review. This play is under review. Obviously, you've got a force out play at third, an error charged to the third baseman, which allowed Suarez to advance first to third. But then the call at second base. And the question is, did Iglesias get a foot on the bag before he was retired? Very odd slide. Iglesias is lucky he didn't get hurt. Well, the question is, did the initial swipe get Iglesias?
Well, this is only in the replay world where you would have a chance to have a ball that beats the runner that much to the bag and have the runner called safe. Because in the previous generations of baseball, whenever a ball got to the base that far ahead of the runner, he's pretty much automatically out, whether you got the tag on him or not. But if you have a review capability, why not take a shot at it here? And Brian Price has got nothing to lose. You go back to that play, though, Tom. You know, not a great bunt. Goldschmidt throws to third base, gets the lead runner. Third baseman Lamb throws it away down the right field line. And if you're Iglesias, you're thinking when you see that ball going down the right field line, you're obviously going to move up to second base. So I don't know if it was really that bad of a base running play as much as it was just bad luck that the Diamondbacks got there so quickly and were able to get that ball to second.
Well, you can see trying to stay with the tag is Ahmed there after he must have felt he missed on the initial swipe to stay on that tag. Now, whether or not they see it that way back in New York, because it's hard to tell here whether he made contact on that right there. Is there contact anywhere? Because he's still reaching.
See, remember now, when you have a call in the field that you're trying to overturn, that's what the Reds are trying to do with this review. You've got to have irrefutable evidence, and it just can't be maybe or maybe not. That might be the best look, and
now there's a call at second base.
The call stands.
So the call stands is the official verdict.
At the plate, center fielder Billy Hamilton.
So the Reds have a runner at third with 2 outs in the inning, and Billy Hamilton is the batter. They had 2 on, none out, now 1 on, 2 out. Hamilton singled his first time up, and there's ball 1. Reds are trailing 1-0. And they are leaning on Hamilton hard to pick up a 2-out hit to tie this game. In on the corners, 2 balls and a strike, 2 away to Hamilton. Breaking ball and a beauty. That was one of his best, and he's had a few of them. Hamilton out of there swinging, inning over. Boy, promising to nothing. 1-0 Diamondbacks in front. '20th through the 23rd. And thanks to Reach Savings Magazine, you can catch the action. Save with a 4 for $48 ticket offer. 4 view-level tickets plus 4 exclusive Reds hats. All that for $48. 381-REDS or log on to Reds.com/4448. Raisel Iglesias has retired 10 in a row since giving up a 1-out run scoring single to David Peralta in the Diamondbacks' first inning. But he's on the short end of a 1-0 game. Chase Anderson has fanned 6 and allowed the Reds 4 hits, no runs.
His defense has bailed him out, especially in that last inning. It was Lamb, the third baseman, who threw that ball away past the first baseman Goldschmidt down the right field line. But it was their right fielder, Ender Inciarte. If you look at him here, watch him, he's already drifting over in almost an anticipation of a play happening, and there he is. And the only reason they're able to get Iglesias on a ball that is thrown down the right field line is the fact that he was already in the move, thinking I might be in this play, rather than saying, hey, I'm a right fielder and I'm going to sit out here and I got a ticket and I'm here to play right field. And it's being in the right place at the right time. So I'm not so sure that you blame Iglesias for bad base running there as much as you do good credit to the Arizona Diamondback defense.
Deep in the hole at short. Suarez cuts it loose. Nice play by the Reds shortstop. 2 away in the inning. That's 12 in a row now retired by Rysel.
Now the Reds coaches, Jay Bell and Freddie Benavides, the infield guys, have really raved about how much better Eugenio Suarez has gotten defensively just in the last month or so. And part of that is due to the fact that he takes infield ground balls up there essentially right with Brandon Phillips before the ball game. He stands at the shortstop spot. Phillips, of course, takes him at second base. But they use that pancake fielder's glove, which really doesn't have a pocket. And they go through certain drills every day, just like you would drill a 12 or 13-year-old team. And, you know, great fielders are made. They're not born. Now, Brandon Phillips has a great deal of God-given talent. Let's not forget that. But you got to teach yourself how to be a good fielder. And I think when you've got a guy that you look up to like Brandon Phillips, you're going to do that. The same thing, I believe, happened to Zach Cozart, although Cozart came with probably much better fundamentals anyway. What he learned at Ole Miss and up through the minor leagues. But there has been a lot of improvement in Suarez.
Sure has. I mean, he had a rough couple of weeks here initially. And really, most of them, Chris, were on the routine, right?
Yep. Kind of funnel. He got in the habit of funneling the ball up the side of his body instead of funneling it right up towards your chest.
Fly ball, left field. And I tell you what, Iglesias is really pitching a ball game here tonight. Man, does he look good. See if the Reds with the top of the order coming up can get him some support tonight.
Field, and the zombies have been everywhere on the field, in the stands, and they have a zombie maze out here in right field. And that's where I am, and I have found one of the zombies who is actually scaring women and children to death out here. What do you think of Chris Welsh's broadcasting expertise? I pretty much have the same opinion. You know, this is a first. I usually don't take selfies, but, you know, it's not often that you get to take one with a zombie. So there we go. Smile, cheese for that. Boys, the zombies are everywhere, and there is a zombie maze out here, much like a haunted house. So they are planted to the hilt. You walk through the concourse, and there are a ton of fans, actually, dressed up as zombies.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, there's a couple scary shots here now. It is a wee bit creepy here.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you put zombies on the kiss cam?
That's a good question. I think they had it a few innings ago. I wasn't paying attention. I mean, that guy would terrify a little kid. And especially the other guy we showed while Jim was introducing that it was zombie night. Left side for Lamb. Goes out Brandon. Phillips tonight 0 for 3. Votto naturally 2 plate appearances, has reached base safely in each of them. A double to center in the first, a walk in the fourth. Reds have out hit him 4-2, but the Diamondbacks put together a hit, a walk, and after an out, a single. Their only 3 base runners of this game against Iglesias came in the first 4 hitters of the game. Weissel has retired the last 13, getting 14 outs. Only one of the games still being played in the National League. 2 of them, I beg your pardon. No, just one. San Diego leading Philadelphia in the 4th inning over at San Diego's Petco Park. That's where the Reds are headed after the conclusion of this game to start a series on Monday night. And then they'll take a bus. The team does not fly from San Diego to Los Angeles. They ride a bus to LA to start a 4-game series Thursday. Well, it was a 2-0 pitch that Votto smoked a double to center. And like 2-0 in the hitter's count here at 3-1. And he throws him a breaking ball nowhere near the plate, and Votto is on base again. The 59th time he has been on base since the All-Star break. And this is the 20th game. That is just unbelievable. And if you weren't with us earlier, we'll put that note back up for you that we had when Votto came to the plate for the first time tonight as Frazier grounds one foul. I mean, you think about all the great hitters, all the great players in baseball. And from the All-Star break, starting after the break, Votto has reached base more times in his first 19 games. This was going into play tonight. And he's been on 3 more times tonight. Ted Williams held that record in 1957. Golly days, that's something else. Reds down a run. Have a tying run at first, and Frazier the batter. Oh, he was on that pitch. Fouled it straight back.
Well, if you have Votto on as the number 2 or 3 hitter in the lineup, as much as he has been on since the All-Star break, and let's just say since the month of August starts, that means that there are players coming to the plate with runners on base pretty much all the time.
That's why it's too bad that Frazier's hitting his first extended slump of the year since the break.
Absolutely right.
He'd have 80 runs batted in right now if he was swinging the bat in the second half like he did the entire first half. Yeah, more than that.
Well, here it is, August 7th. So in the first 6 days of August, Frazier has left on, not including tonight, 14 runners on base. Jay Bruce has left 12 runners on base, and going down the lineup even further is Billy Hamilton, who has left 7 on base. I mean, Frazier and Bruce alone are the ones who have had opportunities to move Votto around, and they've got the type of power they can drive a runner in from first base. And it hasn't been done. It's one of the reasons why the Reds are on that scoreless streak going right now.
Two away in the inning. 7 strikeouts now for Chase Anderson. Almost appears Todd's been doing a lot of that too, guessing. It looks like anyway, Chris, at the plate.
You know what? When you go into a slump like that, you're guessing everything.
Well, Anderson has had Bruce's number tonight. 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts. Bouncing ball. That's the shortstop. How about that? That's why you put him there.
Wow, can he play?
Ford, go further. By Meyer, find more for a healthier you at Meyer. And by Cincinnati Children's Hospital, ranking 3rd in the country on the U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals in America. Certainly extend a hello and hope all of you out at Cincinnati Children's have had a good day today and a better one tomorrow. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning here at Chase Field in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Raisel Iglesias has retired the last 13 Diamondbacks that he has faced, but he trails 1-0. He's only given up 2 hits.
Hey, we're going to show you that play that Jay Bruce grounded into the end of the inning that we mislabeled as we thought the shortstop. And normally you'd think even on a shift that would be the shortstop, but it was somebody else who made that play. It's just amazing how the shift can work. And when you load up one side of the infield with so many players.
Raisel strikes out his 5th batter of the night. 14 in a row retired.
Here's the play we're talking about now. That's a third baseman right here. Okay, so he's the third baseman. And this is the shortstop. So we thought originally when, you shift over, you shift the closest guy. And the third baseman goes to his left as he normally does a lot from third base line. That was Lamb that made a nice play to end the inning.
Well, that is a really nice play.
That's what we heard about, though, Tom, when we get here. You talk to people that follow the team, the broadcasters. There's some scouts in the media room. There's, coaches on the field. And the one thing the Diamondbacks people will tell you over and over is that this team really plays great defense. And they've got a young pitching staff, and they've got 6 rookies in the lineup, and they're, the oldest guy in the starting lineup tonight is 27 years old, so they're only going to get better. But what they do is catch the ball.
Nice pickup by Votto. 15 straight retired by Iglesias.
Joey dropped a little D on him right here.
Now A.J. Pollock has walked and bounced out to Brandon Phillips. Well, by our count up here in the booth, that's at least 5 broken bats. Hitters facing Iglesias tonight. My, oh my, this young man, good Lord willing, he stays healthy. What a future for Raisel Iglesias. The 88th pitch of the night. And ahead of Pollock at 0-2. We've talked about it from time to time. Iglesias is a very outgoing young man. Loves to smile. He's quickly learning the English language, seemingly better and better, Chris, every single day. He's trying at it. You know, a lot of times it's easy for those, especially coming from Cuba and their upbringing, to kind of just bury themselves in a hole. That ball is pulled down the line, and that is up against the wall, so that'll end a string of 15 straight retired by Iglesias on a double by Pollock on a 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, one of the few mistakes that he's made, and I don't know whether he wanted that ball down the way. I guess he did, because that's where Brian Pena is set up.
That was a weird arm slot for Iglesias on that pitch. Normally you see him when he's throwing that breaking ball. That thing's a lot more 3/4 than that.
I think he changes that arm slot really based on feel. I don't think there's any formula. You know, on a 2-strike pitch, I'm throwing it from here. I mean, you kind of develop that. The same way after, you know, we've had a chance to talk over the years to Bronson Arroyo about that, you know, for hours and hours. And he would do the same thing. Sometimes he would just feel like this particular arm slot matches this situation the best, or I feel like I can throw a strike with this better than another arm slot. A little bit more overhand that time. It just kind of slipped out of his hand.
That's the first 2-out hit by either team in the game tonight here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Breaking ball to get ahead of Paul Goldschmidt with a ball and 2 strikes.
You know, one of the things that Goldschmidt does that all really good hitters do, if you watch Miguel Cabrera, same thing. He hits it seemingly right out of the catcher's mitt. But he will strike out. He has struck out once tonight, which makes 94 on the season. Although he walks nearly as much as he strikes out.
Pena, a quick visit to the mound. Bruce shaded a little bit more into right center than he normally would play. A few paces. Goldschmidt likes hitting the ball that way.
Outfield's playing deep.
Got him swinging. What a night tonight for Raisel Iglesias. He's only allowed 3 hits, but he's still trailing the Arizona Diamondbacks as we go to the 7th. 1-0. single, walk, 1 out later in the first inning for the Diamondbacks. Peralta a single in the right, plating Ender Enciarte. But then, what a run for Raisel Iglesias. He retired each of the next 15 Diamondbacks that came to the plate. A 4-out, 2-out double in the 6th inning by A.J. Pollock. But Chase Anderson has given up 4 hits, but very impressive. 7 strikeouts, no runs. See if the Reds can change that here in the top of the 7th inning. Marlon Byrd to lead things off has struck out and bounced to third. And a check swing. He did not go around. Ball 1.
Is there another sport where 2 rookies can take over the game the way that pitchers can in baseball, the way you've seen tonight? Iglesias and Chase Anderson. I don't know if Anderson is so qualified as a rookie, but he's only a second-year player.
That's Lamb behind the bag. Boy, what a strong arm for Jake Lamb. 1 out. It looked at the end of the inning as though the night might be over for Raisel Iglesias. He's thrown just over 90 pitches in 6 innings tonight. There's that big smile. Well, it's a couple guys right there that like to smile, don't they? Him and Pena.
They got a lot to smile about tonight. Except the scoreboard.
Yep. Well, this is the best major league game that Iglesias has pitched. And it's only his 11th game. It's only his 9th major league start. Now, you know, when I say the best, it's his best as far as fewest number of runs, matching that. Overall, his best outing came on the 13th of May against Atlanta when he went 8 innings, allowed 2 hits and 1 run. There's a high fly ball to left field. 2 outs. So pretty close anyway. The best game was Atlanta. This was next in line. That was only Iglesias' second major league start. That was one you may remember when he came back off the disabled list and up from the minor leagues. Well, Suarez more than capable of tying this game with 1 crack of the bat. There's a strike. Reds have Ivan De Jesus Jr. in the on-deck circle. That's a pitcher spot due up next. Well, Anderson has been mighty good.
Well, he's a guy coming just off the disabled list. It's always something about those pitchers that are on their first start off the DL. He had 1 rehab start. He only missed a couple of weeks. He was on the disabled list with triceps inflammation.
1, 2, 3 and a 7th. They stand and stretch. Nearly 27,000 up at Chase Field. Diamondbacks with a 1-0 lead. And stick around after the game for a special on-field ceremony honoring Reds Hall of Famer Tony Perez. More than a dozen Big Red Machine members will be there, including Morgan, Bench, and Rose. Cap off tonight with a fireworks show presented by Cooper Tire. It's a Tony Perez weekend. 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com/tickets. They'll be unveiling the statue of Tony Perez that weekend. Giving away the replica statues to the first 30,000 through the gate on Saturday. That'll be a 4-game. It's a unique homestand for the Reds. Coming up, Brian Price thrilled, shaking the hand of Raisel Iglesias with what he saw from him tonight. You can tell, I mean, he doesn't need an interpreter. You know, Brian Price is sitting there speaking with him. He's nodding his head in agreement. Swinging a foul ball out of play. So Manny Parra now takes over on the mound following Iglesias. Parra just off the disabled list. He threw the ball very well in that Cardinals series. His first game back is when he went, you may remember, he came in a really tough spot. With a run in, already 2 on, got a strikeout. He allowed a run scoring single, but got a double play. Came back the next inning, retired the leadoff man. So the Reds are glad to have him back. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember right, I haven't looked at it for a while. Ouch. Frazier will throw out Peralta. I believe Parra lives here year-round, does he not?
You're exactly right about that. He certainly does.
The Reds have a lot of guys. I mean, look, there are a lot of baseball players that live out here.
Well, it's like a home away from home. If your team spring training is located in Phoenix, that gives you an extra 6 weeks of being at home in your own home, around your family, that you may not have, you know, that you won't have if you're living out of town somewhere.
And boy, that's where the Diamondbacks and the Marlins and the Rays, they've really got it good. Having spring training in the state where they play their games, regular season games and spring training games.
Boy, good-looking pitch right there. Anytime you can get an inside strike on a fastball and the hitter is kind of backing out of the way of it, it means he's got no real good feel of what the inner part of that strike zone really is. You might want to come right back in there a little bit more.
Well, he went away from him, and that ball is smoked the other way, a home run.
Who is this guy? That's what the Chicago Cubs would like to know.
We brought it up earlier, some of the numbers for Castillo. He has more extra base hits than any catcher in the league going back to the start of June, and that includes now Buster Posey.
Well, when he was playing early in the year for the Chicago Cubs, he batted .163. And in 24 games, had 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. And he has just hit his 12th home run in 43 games here for the Diamondbacks. And boosted his batting average over 300.
That's a big run, too. That's a big run. Seven, as you see, in his last 10 games. Found out a play. The Diamondbacks just wrapped up a series they lost 2 of 3 to the Washington Nationals, but the Nationals again stub their toe. They blow a lead late. Colorado wins at 5-4. The Mets win again. Mets have won 7 straight. They have a 2.5 game lead over the Nationals in the National League East. Told you the Cubs beat the Giants again, which means they've opened up a little more daylight in that wild card race. Up to 2.5 games for that second wild card spot. The lead for Chicago over the Giants. They have 2 more games left in that series. And in a matchup of 2 of the league's very, very best, Clayton Kershaw for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Garrett Cole for the Pirates. That was the opener of a series tonight in Pittsburgh. They went extra innings in that game. That was a game where Kershaw came in on a long scoreless inning streak, and the very first batter of the game, Gregory Polanco, hit a home run in the first inning, and the Pirates end up winning it in extra innings. There's a fly ball to left. 2 are out. Neither pitcher figuring in the decision in that game. MLS Soccer Sunday continues this week with the New York Derby as the Red Bulls take on New York City FC. 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, sponsored by Audi. One and 0 the count on Chris Owings. Straight up in the air, but the Diamondbacks are going to get a run on the home run by Castillo. And 1-0 becomes 2-0, and the Reds have 6 outs to play with. The 8th inning, and this is a real nice story taking over on the mound. Young man from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Daniel Hudson, originally a Chicago White Sox right-hander going back to 2008. He was traded from the White Sox to the Diamondbacks for Edwin Jackson and a pitcher named David Holmberg. And all Daniel Hudson did his first full year in the big leagues after coming up in 2010 when he went 7-1 with an ERA at 1.6. The next year, he led the Diamondbacks to the playoffs, winning 16 games. But the following year, Chris, he was injured. Only pitched in one game, coming all the way back from surgery in 13, and made it back to the big leagues for the first time. 3 games at the end of the year last season.
That is a feel-good story. The kind of story that you appreciate it if you're around the game and you see guys that have to spend so much time in the training room and the rehab room and just wondering if they're ever going to be able to get back to the level that they once were.
And they're pitching him out of the bullpen, and you know, Hudson would love to be a starter again someday. Now whether or not his arm is going to allow him to do that, time will tell, as De Jesus bats for Parra, who allows a hit and a run. It was a dominant performance by both starters tonight. Anderson, 7 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball, punched out 7, walked 2, and Hudson retires the first batter he faces here in the 8th. "25 consecutive scoreless innings for the Reds." Here's Billy Hamilton, 1 of 2. Reds got a 1-out double in the first inning by Votto. He never moved. 1-out single by Hamilton in the 3rd. Phillips bounced into a double play. Votto walked leading off the 4th. Frazier, Bruce, Bird retired. Their best threat of the night came in the 5th. Back-to-back singles by Pena and Suarez, but then a wild play when Iglesias put down a bunt, went to the first baseman, who got the force out at 3rd. The return throw went rolling down the right field line. But then Ciarte, the right fielder, picked up the ball and threw out Iglesias trying to go to second base. So in essence, a double play on a bunt in a roundabout sort of way, and
in which the right fielder was involved.
Yeah. And Ciarte making the play of the night, alert play of the night for sure.
No doubt about it.
Of course, it's not a double play in the book because of the throwing error, but in essence, they got 2 outs while the ball was still put in play on the bunt. Two away in the inning.
You know, Tom, when you talk about Daniel Hudson and his road back from injury, he did not have just one Tommy John surgery, but he had 2 Tommy John surgeries. That, and along the way, some forearm stiffness that landed him on the DL, some shoulder problems. That's really the main reason right now why they're going to keep him in the bullpen until further notice, until he shows himself to be durable enough to be able to go back out on the mound every 5 days as a starter. Ryan Matthews in the Reds bullpen.
One, 2, 3 for Hudson. Diamondbacks bat in the bottom of the 8th, leading 2-0.
and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, tonight on Fox Sports Live, 2 Cy Young contenders face off at PNC Park. Talked about that. Blue Jays and the Yankees in the Bronx. And does it ever end for 49er defensive end Aldon Smith? This guy's in trouble again. Goodness gracious. Watch Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
For Cincinnati, now pitching, number 41, Ryan Matthews.
Young people in life, and believe me, I know we sound like old fogies and we sound like a bunch of, whatever the words you want to use. But man, when you've been blessed with talent, whatever it is you do, don't screw it up. And that's in reference to this Aldon Smith. This guy is an incredible football player. He may never play another down again. Just from being a dope.
Nick Ahmed leads things off as Ryan Matthews takes over on the mound for the Reds. Diamondbacks with a 2-0 lead. You know what I mean, Chris? I don't want to sound like an old fogey, but man, for those of us that have been around for a while, don't mess it up.
Well, at the time they're doing whatever they're doing, they don't think they've got a chance to mess it up.
You're right, and we've all been there, been young and dumb. Believe me, I'm not preaching to anybody because nobody was dumber than me.
That is a shame because he's not the only one that loses out. If he is indeed in trouble, suspended, whatever, and his family gets hurt by it, the fans get hurt by it, the organization he's playing for gets hurt by it, so you got more responsibility than just yourself.
He's arrested today in California for a DUI and a hit and run at the same time. Third time he's been arrested in the last 4 years. 2-2 on Ahmed. And that's strike 3 called, and Matthews takes care of the Arizona shortstop to open up the 8th inning.
Now let's call this nice fastball strikeout by Ryan Matthews. Our flamethrower brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. Matthews dialing that one up at 93 to get Ahmed looking.
Aaron Hill, a one-time regular. In fact, a one-time All-Star second baseman. Aaron Hill, both with Toronto and the Diamondbacks. He's had some really nice offensive seasons in Toronto and when he first came here to Arizona. And a base hit in the left center field with 1 out. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the night. You can treat yours the hashtag Ohio Data Strong fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Sherry, thank you. Here's Inciarte. Diamondbacks with 5 hits. The Reds have 4. And the Diamondbacks have 2 runs. The Reds have none. Reds baseball produced by Josh Hall, directed by Brian Hunterman. Our associate producers Matt Sigafus and Lauren White. Reds Live produced by Kent Weaver. Coordinating producer of Reds baseball is Bob Pennell. Our executive producer at Fox Sports Ohio, Tom Farmer, and our general manager at Fox Sports Ohio, Francois McGillicuddy. We are in Phoenix for the first of 3. Reds have gone 26 consecutive scoreless innings. They were shut out by the Cardinals from the fifth inning on in a 13-inning game 2 days ago. Shut out by Waka, Broxton, Choate, and Rosenthal over 9 yesterday. And through 8 tonight against Anderson and Hudson. And the runner takes off. Matthews just now sees him, and it's too late.
Now Aaron Hill taking a chance, just taking off as soon as Matthews looks, and somebody yells step off, and I don't know if he even ever stepped off. He just turned to second base, which you're allowed to do, and he did step off with his right foot and just got there too late.
Frazier trying to barehand it, and that'll be a bunt single by Inciarte, and they're on the corners with 1 out.
Now we see Frazier make this play more times than he doesn't make this play. Any way you cut it, though, it's a tough play to barehand while that ball is still rolling. And now with 1 out, the Diamondbacks bring up the special part of this batting order that can really put this game tough for the Reds if they're able to convert a couple of next hitters.
Runner goes first to second, pulled foul by A.J. Pollock. Jam shot roller, but this will bring in no foul ball. Oh, and 2 on Pollock. Pulled foul. 1-2 pitch. Runner goes first to second, and another foul ball. Pollock hanging in there.
Well, Pollock's hanging in there, and you still have to be wary of Inciarte at first base. 19 bags last year, 10 already this year. I mean, maybe for nothing else, you run him on the pitch just to see if you stay out of the double play ball. But if you're Brian Price on a count 1 ball and 2 strikes, you have some wiggle room. Would you call for a pitch out here? We've not seen the Reds really call for many pitch outs at all this year. He wants a heater inside.
1-2 pitch. Pollock waiting. And a throw to third. On the corners, 1 away. Suarez pulls in at short, and another foul ball on another fastball down and in. That one at 95 miles per hour. This is quite a battle going on right here, and it's still only 1 ball and 2 strikes in the count. Should be the 8th pitch in this at bat. An inning which started with a strikeout, but then a single, a stolen base, a bunt hit, and the Reds bring everybody in the infield in now on a 2-strike pitch. Liner, this will be a double play with a runner going, and that will end the inning. Say, that's a pretty alert play right there what Aaron Hill just did. We'll get back to that in a minute.
You can catch the action and save with a 4 for $48 ticket offer. For only $48, you get 4 view-level tickets plus 4 exclusive Reds hats. 513-381-REDS for tickets, or visit reds.com/4 for $48. That is Tony Perez weekend, and to kick off that weekend will be a Tony Perez dinner. And a dinner with the Great 8. Limited number of tickets for this dinner. 513-765-7923 for that, or redsmuseum.org. And all the biggies, the Great 8, including, in addition, Billingham, Eastwick, Darcy, and our buddy Doug Flynn. Dinner, cocktails, a Q&A session, a commemorative jersey. Will be quite the weekend, and what an event that will be at the Handlebar.
Well, Doug Flynn's just the best. I mean, if any of you ever have a chance, of course, many of you know Doug, as Brad Ziegler takes over on the mound because he's from Lexington, Kentucky. He lives down there and grew up down there. But if you've never had a chance to meet him, I mean, what a Just a prince of a guy. Votto trying to bunt his way on to get aboard to start this 9th inning. Reds need a base runner and then a blast. Votto has been on base all 3 times tonight. A double, a walk, and a walk. Now, Ziegler's been really, really good this year. But his most recent outing was yesterday. And in 1 inning, he gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, including a home run. But he'll retire Votto. Had Votto walked in that final at bat, he would have been the first major league player. We thank Joe Lucca from back in Cincinnati for this. Since Barry Bonds in June of 2006 to walk 3 or more times in 3 consecutive games. Ziegler has converted. Yesterday was not a save chance. That was in just getting an inning of work as the Diamondbacks were blasted by the Nationals. And Frazier, a line drive, base hit. So Jay Bruce, a tying run, will come to the plate. That's good solid contact there by Frazier.
Well, it is. He hangs right in there. Ziegler is the tough guy to elevate. He normally keeps the ball down around the knees. He does it with ground balls, not strikeouts. Converting saves, that is, and he got that maybe up a little bit high for him, which is really only knee high to Frazier.
There were a lot of rumors, and Chris, I don't know how much you've been able to dig around on this, and it's really not our doing to do much of that. But you know that it was rumored the Diamondbacks were really hot and heavy after Aroldis Chapman right around the trade deadline this year. I think everybody around here sees Ziegler as an outstanding 8th inning man. Obviously, he's done a really good job as a closer this year. 19, already a career high. He's converted 17 in a row.
Well, everybody gets hot and heavy about a player like Chapman until you find out what the price is.
No kidding. And you can't blame the Reds for asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars. If that's indeed, if there was any conversation at all about Chapman.
We talk about ground ball percentages from pitchers from time to time. Ziegler's is simply off the charts. He is 70%.
Wow.
Ground balls. And you can see why.
Ziegler in the setup role last year, pitching 68 games, won 5 games, ERA under 3.5. 4th most holds, holding a league in the National League. Bruce out of there swinging. And Ziegler this year has had to come all the way back, Chris, from that very serious microfracture knee surgery, which he had in September of last year. One out, one on. Bird has 2 outs, 1 on. Bird has 18 home runs. Number 19 would tie it right here. Instead of ground ball to second, and the Reds have gone 27 consecutive scoreless innings. They are shut out for a 2nd straight game. Tough luck loser is Raisel Iglesias tonight. But give credit where the credit's due. Anderson, Hudson, and Ziegler combined on the shutout here at Chase Field. 2-0 Diamondbacks win it. Back in a moment.